Hi, I'm William Byrne. 31 years ago, I wrote, illustrated, and self-published a 24-page black and white comic book called Max Burger P.I. Max Burger P.I. is about a mutant hamburger private investigator, born from a microwave explosion 17 years ago, who solves crimes and battles his brother the Mad Burger, part cyborg, part hamburger, and who lives in the sewers and plots to take over the world and reshape it to his dark vision. Now I'm planning to re-release Max Burger P.I. number 1 in a longer 48-page story with all new art. I hope you will back my Indiegogo campaign. Thank you. Hey, welcome everyone. I got a special guest with me this morning. Max Burger is right here with me, right on my shoulder. Say hi, everyone, Max. Yeah, this is something I had made a while back. He's probably about 30 years old. So I've shown him before on this podcast, but I thought I'd bring him along. He looks a little grumpy this morning, probably because I woke him up from his sleep. Kind of one of his eyes is not open, so it's a fun little thing. I had a woman in Kitchener make this for me, and I think it cost me $25 to have it made. So yeah, it's kind of cool to have a 3-dimensional action figure. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I've had a couple made from other people, and they really haven't. They really didn't do the job that I thought this woman did this one, and I should have went back with her because at the time back when I had this made, $25 was a lot of money, and I was looking at selling a bunch of these, and I said, well, how would I market this at $25? I'd have to make my money back, so I'd have to double what I was charging. So yeah, I brought him along. Yeah, it's just made out of material. I've got a coat for him too. Didn't have a hat made, but yeah. So this is him in the back. This is him in the front. So yeah, trying to sit him here, but he's not. Let's see, maybe you can sit on my shoulder, but you can't see him with my hair or my head. I'll just hide him over here and let him go to sleep. I woke him up too soon, so yeah. Yeah, so Max is 3-dimensional as well. So how's everybody doing this morning? I thought I switch it up. I was going to do one last night, but I got busy reading again, and I finally finished off the book I was working on. So yeah. But I'm going to try to do the regular one in the morning. Maybe everybody's more alert by then. If I do one more in the afternoon, the evening, people are tired from work or tired from the day. So yeah. I see we have a couple people like come in and go out. Just looking at some stuff here on Bounty into the Comics. Doesn't look like there's anything new since yesterday. There is a Power Rangers Sins of the Future Red Force Time Ranger protects small business from violent looters. That's kind of new. It's a Boom Studio Comics. I don't know. I haven't read any Boom comics. Anybody read any of those? What is Boom like? Do they have a nice line of books? to read. Oh yeah, one thing I got yesterday was a John Byrne Superman. I thought it was going to be an omnibus, but it's a collection of the Man of Steel, Superman #1, and Action Comics and a few other Superman titles. So I got that yesterday, and I was reading that through. I was quite happy with that first Superman, like reading that first Superman story. Thought it was really good. It was it held up with it. It had held up with like today, the storylines and stuff like that. Terry Austin did the inks. I thought the inks were just beautiful on John Byrne's artwork. I was when I originally bought the book, I was sad that Terry only did one issue of Superman with John Byrne, but he did appear throughout that series. I guess it was spread out, and I just didn't see Terry's name in it, and was disappointed and stuff like that. So anyway, this Boom Studio reveals first look at upcoming Power Rangers Sins of the Future original graphic novel. The graphic novel features a story by Trey Moore and is written by Matthew Erman, with illustrations by Kasupi Cafaro, are joined by Ed Dukeshire, who provides the lettering work. The story takes place after the events of the Power Rangers Time Force TV series. It sees Pink Time Force Ranger Jen Scott returns from the future, where she and West are sequentially attacked by a mysterious stranger who reveals to them dire news. This stranger claims that the timeline has been altered and Jen is to blame for deadly consequences. The information from this mysterious stranger puts them on a collision path with an enemy they have never expected. In a press release, Boom Studio questions, can Jen and West survive the threats to their past, present, and future, or will it be the end of everything they know it? Boom Studio is not only revealed the cover art for the graphic novel by Diego Genetto, seen above. They also revealed 10 images from the book. The art looks pretty good. I'm looking into getting my monitor fixed, so I'll be able to share this stuff. So everybody can see it. Just trying to scroll here to get to more stuff here. Ten pages is a lot to go through. So they say here, Power Rangers Sins of the Future will arrive at comic book shelves on October 28, 2020. I don't know. I haven't read anything from Boom. So, yeah. So, it says here, Iron Man actor Robert Downey Jr. reported to want Johnny Depp for a role in Sherlock Holmes sequel. So Iron Man actor Robert Downey Jr. has made it clear his desire for Johnny Depp to appear alongside him in the upcoming Sherlock Holmes sequel. UK-based outlet The Express reports that, according to senior source at Warner Brothers, Bob wants Johnny on board, come hell or high water. The upcoming Sherlock Holmes film will be a sequel to Sherlock Holmes: A Games of Shadows. It will see Jude Law, Rachel McAdams, and Downey Jr. reprised their roles as Dr. Watson, Irene Adler, and the titular detective respectively. Warner Brothers source also noted that Downey Jr.'s wife, Susan Downey, is a co-producer, and like her husband, she's been a close friend of Johnny, his previous partner, Vanessa, and their two children for years, who shares Bob's view that not only Johnny is a stellar talent, but he also deserves a helping hand. According to the Express, Downey Jr. recently said, "There is nobody I admire more than Depp." The Pirates of the Caribbean actor stated that the two I have known each other a million years and come up through the ranks together. This development was covered by YouTube Joshua Rises, who admired how Downey Jr. comes off as somebody who has a lot more integrity than most people in Hollywood do. Depp was recently in a London High Court as part of a libel suit the actor brought against The Sun. The suit sought to disprove the tabloid newspaper allegations made in reference to his domestic disputes with ex-wife Amber Heard, that he was a wife beater. Though The Sun relied heavily on Heard's testimony for the defense, evidence provided numerous examples of Heard engaging in abusive behavior. This included insulting and violent behavior she had accused Depp of. Justice Nichols is not expected to deliver a verdict on the case until September at the earliest. The ex-spouses are set to clash once again in January. Depp is suing Heard for defamation over a Washington Post column in which she claimed various violent abuses committed by Depp against her. It is set to begin in Virginia. Sherlock Holmes is scheduled for a tentative December 22nd, 2021. So yeah, interesting stuff going on. So let me get out of this. We'll talk a little bit more, and I'll just stay for a bit more. Anybody's got anything to ask me about Max here? You know, maybe I can get Max to answer some questions, you know? It's kind of warm to have Max up here. Hey, morning, Dale. So what do you think of my new co-host? He doesn't say much, but, you know. He looks good, you know. Oh, he's falling asleep. Let's see if I can get him to stay up. You thought that was Spider-Man. Wrong color. Spider-Man's red. You know? And Spider-Man doesn't have green hands either, you know? Oh, come on, Max. Stay there. It is 5:45 a.m., Dell, in the morning. Yeah, I'm in Ontario, so I'm the same time as New York City. So you might be a bit earlier in your time. So yeah, Max won't stay awake. I got him up too early. That's what the problem is. Let's take him over. So you're an hour behind. All right. So you're at 4:46. Nice. I don't even think the sun has come up yet. I don't have any windows in my studio here, so yeah, I can't tell if the sun's up yet. I know it rained last night here. I think it was like midnight or 1 o'clock. The rain came down. I could hear it outside. So I don't know if it's supposed to rain today, but it did come down quite heavily last night. Woke me up an hour or two before I usually get up in the morning. So I just saw a Black Adam trailer on Emergency Awesome this morning. Also, your son had a nightmare and he woke up. Yeah, you were saying yesterday that you were in Texas. Yeah. Oh my, that's not good. That would give anybody nightmares. Yeah, I've never seen a hurricane. Yeah, just be careful the house doesn't get flown up. You end up in Oz or somewhere. And that's usually where it happens too, isn't it? The houses in Texas usually get taken by tornadoes and hurricanes and sent off into Oz, right? Yeah, Black Adam. Well, I think it's just more of an animated thing for Black Adam. So they haven't really. Oh, you're in Dakota, so you have no worries about going to Oz then. But then your family could disappear to Oz. So you're still in contact with them? Like the lines haven't gone down, the phones and stuff like that, so. Yeah. So yeah, like back to the Black Adam thing there. I watched that this morning. It was just animated, but the way The Rock was describing and the way he was, it seemed like a real trailer. And see if I can find it and share it here. I really liked it. I think it's a teaser, isn't it? Let's see if I can share my screen here. Well, that's good. You're texting your mom every hour to make sure. Good. There we go. Let's see. Let's get this going. Can you hear the sound?
1,000 years ago, Kahndaq was a melting pot of cultures, wealth, power, and magic. Yet most of us had nothing, except for the chains around our necks. Kahndaq needed a hero.
Yes.
Instead, they got me. I did what needed to be done, and they imprisoned me for it. Now, 5,000 years later, I'm free, and I give you my word.
Yeah, so that was really good. Um, oops, I gotta turn off the other tab. Yeah, that was the one that was on Emergency Awesome was a little bit longer because they had The Rock. There was a I guess he was behind a green screen, but they had this. He was like in this cavern, and I guess that's where Black Adam was banned. Yeah, I really want DC to make good movies too. I was thinking about it this morning. I said I'd love to see about 10 years of DC good movies. Um, yeah, they got so many good characters too. That haven't been really used. I'd like to see another Swamp Thing movie put out. I don't know. Did you see were we talking about the DC Swamp Thing yesterday? Because that TV series that was on the streaming service, that was awesome. Yeah, there is potential there. They just got to get good stories. I just think that looking back at, like we were talking yesterday about the CW, they're okay, but they're not great stories. That they're telling. Yeah, that's true. I don't think it's oversaturated. I'm still quite happy to go and see these movies as long as they're good. What was trying to think? I know Mystery Men weren't a part of the DC universe or comic books or something like that. Well, with Flaming Carrot, and I never read them in the comics, but I went and seen the movie. I think it might have done a little bit better if they had Flaming Carrot as a guest in it. I don't know, the CW stories. You might have one episode that's really good, but then the next week that one kind of fails a bit, And I thought the writing, like there was some several shows from the past, from the 90s that I watched. The original Flash, that was well done. I think they were a little weak on a couple of stories as well, but the production values were beautiful on this show. It was dark. I know it was in that time that superheroes, when Batman came out with Michael Keaton, that was dark. And they continued with the trend, but that Flash from the 90s was really good. That movie was well done. I liked his motivation, how he became the Flash, and there's a movie with Mr. Manhattan. The original Batman was good. I've got a friend that works at a comic book store, and he did like it at first when it first came out, but he didn't think it was that good. And it was probably maybe because it got replaced with Kristen Bale's version of Batman, I really like, well, if you asked me this when I was like 7, I would have said Adam West. But I think the best Batman is Christian Bale. I am. Oh, you got new comics yesterday. What did you get yesterday? Now I picked up I had some in my pole bin. Forget what they said it was in there, but I had this John Byrne Man of Steel book that was put out. The best Joker. They had signs at the comic book store about that comic. Is it a John JRJR book? Because it looked like his artwork on the prints they had around their outside sign. And Batman mostly Venom. Okay. Yeah, I don't buy a lot of Batman books anymore. I was there's a lot of mainstream books that I don't buy lately, and I'm starting to cut down on my stuff. I'm buying a lot of indie books. I'm looking at crowdfunding books and stuff like that because I'm finding more interesting stuff in with Indiegogo and Kickstarter. I bought a bunch of books from Kickstarter. I'm kind of moved away from Kickstarter a bit, and maybe it's because I didn't like Kickstarter because 3 times I've attempted to re-release or try to get the North Shield going, and I just couldn't make it up to my goal. People were saying that my print cost was too high, but my print cost was the lowest. The highest thing for that book was The Best Joker. To me, what? Don't know. I did like Heath Ledger. I really liked Heath Ledger. I thought he was really I thought Heath Ledger did a really good job. I just wonder if he would have, for the third movie, would he have been back for that movie? And would the movie been different? Because I really found the third Batman movie with Christian Bale really flat, and yeah, I agree with you on that one. So that's good. You're sharing a lot of Kickstarters and Indiegogo that helps other people with their campaigns and stuff like that. And when I originally did my Max Burger book, I only had 300 copies sent. I think they were the only ones that got to the United States. Now I sold a lot of them locally. I probably sold a couple hundred or more locally, and then I went on the road, and the problem is when you go to a lot of these stores. When I was doing my book, people wanted consignment. You can't work on consignment because you come in the store and they lose track of what your books are selling because they don't really care, And I sold the books because the books were fairly cheap back then. I had them in newsprint. So the print costs were fairly cheap. And I think I was selling them for to stores for like $1, which back in the 90s was pretty cheap. But a lot of people didn't want to pay that. So what did you Dell? Consignment? Consignment is basically you the store, rather than paying you, They rather have the books on the shelf, and when they sell it, they give you the money for it. So rather than dishing out money to pay you for your copies of your book, they'll give you have it sitting in the store until it sells. So if it sells in the store, whatever money they collect, they'll give it back to you. They'll give to you. You'll split it with them. So that's the thing I don't like, is having it sitting on a shelf and you're not making any money off it. Because if you pay me first, then you can have my books. But consignment never works. And you're running around. One store I went to, and this is in town, he's not in business anymore. He was only in business for, I think, a year or two. And he opened up a store in the town I live in, or the city I live in. It was 3 small towns, and they amalgamated it together, called Galt, Preston, and Hespeler. And this guy opened up one in Galt, and called the Red Owl. He was from out of town. He was probably about an hour drive from here. So he set up a store called the Red Owl, and I wanted to sell him the books. Well, he just wanted to take them, put them on a shelf, and see how they sold. So I'd come in every week to check and see how they're selling. I noticed the books were, there was less on the shelf. And I said, well, how about giving me my money for the books that you sold? And he said, well, they're not really selling. He was putting them away under his shelf, under the cabinet, so people wouldn't see them, so they would think that they were selling. Yeah. So they don't push it, and So I had a hamburger place in town, well, in another town, our city, called Kitchener. And it was a fast food restaurant. They sold burgers and stuff like that. So I had books there on the table, in plastic and stuff like that. And people would come by and take them out of the plastic and read them, and then put them back on the display again. So she didn't pay for those either. And the guy said, well, I thought they were here for free to read. And I just grabbed all the books and just took them out, and I stopped doing that. So it's just a waste of time, energy to go and collect this money, You want the books, they're cheap, they're $1 to buy, and then you sell them for an extra $1, you make $1, simple math, And that's the thing with distribution with Diamond. Diamond takes, I think Diamond wanted 70% off the cover or something like that. So you got to look at it back then. If books, say the book costs about 33 cents to make, so you have to recoup your cost. You had to pay for shipping for the books to come to your house. And then you ship them off to Diamond. So you're paying for the distribution on that. So you have to sell quite a bit to recoup your costs and still make a living to continue doing your books. So there's a lot of money to spend in this, and yeah, let me, I'm going to pull up some here, Dell. Let me see. You probably searched it out, but I'm going to put it up anyway. So, because we were talking about my video yesterday. And, let me pull this up. Here we go. Oh, I'm gonna have to share my screen. Hang on. I'm gonna move it over. go. And share.
Max Berger, private investigator, is on his way to the Persian Gulf. That's a comic strip character created by Bill Byrne of Kitchener-Waterloo. As Kerry McKee reports now.
Yeah, it can be frustrating.
Max Berger will provide a little comic relief for Canadian soldiers overseas.
Meet Max Berger PI. He's a hamburger/person trying to cope on the planet Earth. For the most part, Max Berger can only be found in major North American cities. But now, thanks to his creator Bill Byrne, Max is on his way to the Persian Gulf. His mission? To entertain Canadian soldiers.
They're probably bored out of their minds. They need something to read, so I figured, send them something to cheer them up a bit while they're there.
Byrne says his gesture is one of goodwill, but he conceives Max Berger could use a little more PR.
I really feel that the character it needs more exposure to people, and there isn't enough people out there knowing that this comic book exists.
As for entertaining the soldiers, the plot is rather deep. Max Berger is trapped in his own mind. His quest is to discover a way out, but there's virtually no dialogue explaining that.
I've done it a little differently than most comic books. I've tried to keep the words out of it, and you have to read the pictures in a sense to understand what I'm trying to say there.
So, if not entertained, the artwork is bound to keep the soldiers wondering. In Kitchener, Kerry McKee, CKCO TV News.
Yeah, there is a lot to do with comics. You got to be a marketer. You got to be, entertainer. So you got to have a lot of hats. It's for any kind of business, So, Dale, this is the original tape of that video you just saw. Let's see if I can get it closer. So it was on a Monday, November 26th. It's not 98. It's 1990 there. I worked for a call center. I'm not. Yeah, I kept it. I have it on. I have this on DVD too. I went to a professional place in town here that converts tapes over to DVD, but I have right behind me. Let me move the camera. You might get a little seasick here. See if I can. Can you see the TV down there? And you can see my Max Berger car. It's hard to tell with the microphone. Let's see if I can. There's two VCRs there. There's an old school TV just below. See if I can get it around. I can't get it around. There we go. We'll go up higher, over this way. So yeah, there's an old school TV behind me. That's usually what I use to listen to when I'm drawing. So yeah, I worked at I worked at a call center, but I worked at a telemarketing office. That's when I taped that. That VHS tape. I contacted the news company and I said, "Oh, what time is it going to be on?" Because I wanted to set the VCR up to record it, and they couldn't give me a time when it was on. I think it's about 10 minutes into the newscast that the interview came on. So I set the VCR for, I think, 5:58 or 5:59, so I could get the beginning of the newscast. There is a whole bunch of stuff from that era that's on that tape. So I've got that tape put on CD or DVD as well. So if anything happens to the tape, I've got a backup, and it's on YouTube too. So can't disappear. But yeah, I work for a telemarketing place, and we sold newspapers. It was a local newspaper called the Kitchener Record, and they would give us a phone book. They would tear out the page, and they would have it sitting in I think a tray or some on the manager's desk. When did I add Max Burger's brother? Well, the Mad Burger he's always been in the book. He's just in the shadows. He's not the main focus of this story of the first issue. So he's in there right away. I just decided not to do an origin story right away. I don't know if that was a good idea or a bad idea, but that's what I wanted to do. But as soon as I got with the story of yesterday, when if you look at that clip, that video clip, you will actually see the Mad Burger there, because I had a drawing of the Mad Burger. I actually was working on the third issue at that time, and it was half done. I was looking at doing 40 pages, and because my original book was 24, and when I did the second issue, I expanded it to 40 pages, and I said, well, let's do 40 pages every month. I was going to try to do it out at least bi-monthly or something like that. Yeah, they when I talked to the news corporation, they were going to do an interview with me. They said, we're planning on doing an interview with you. But when they heard about my book being sent to the Persian Gulf, that's when they got interested in doing an interview with me. I don't know. I give them, what the book was about and stuff. Like the second book was a dream issue, and I tried to describe it as best as I could. That Max was. There was a lot of books I read at the time. Service the Aardvark, where Service, there would be ones called Mind Games and stuff, and Service would be knocked unconscious, and he'd be going through this Steve Ditko kind of world, and Max was kind of trapped in his own mind. And what did I call it? Take Out Comics? Well, because Max came from a fast food restaurant, so I thought takeout. That you go if you're going to a burger place or some. Most times you go to a takeout. We have a fast food restaurant here called Fast Eddie's. And the only thing, you can pick it up at the window. You can get an order at the window, but it's no walk-in store, and it's basically a drive-through. So, and we have a lot of coffee shops up here. There's a Hortons and stuff like that. So you go and get your coffee, and then there's a lot of people go through the takeouts, Thank you. So it's tied with, Max Burger and stuff like that. That's why it's called Takeout. So, and yeah, because I had another name. I had the company was called Graphic Image at one time, but Image came in. Image Comics came in, and I took the name Image. So I was kind of worried about if I did the book again, and I called my company Graphic Image. Image Comics might have an issue with that, and they're much more. They have a lot more money than I do, a lot more better lawyers and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be able to keep that name. So I came up with a bunch of names. I go, well, let's just use Takeout Comics as the name, and then I'll apply to Max as well. So I got some plans for the second issue when I come out with the Indiegogo. Got some really neat packaging and stuff like that. And I'm going to work on a new logo. So, yeah. Well, thanks, Dale, for dropping in. I'll be back in tomorrow morning. And stay safe. And hopefully your family is safe as well. All right? Take care. So I think I might stay on for a few more minutes. Let's see what there's any new news out there for the comic book industry stuff. See if I can share some stuff. Yeah, I got a Superman book the other day. Superman. See if I can get the cover here. Yeah, here it is. Got it here. Let's see if I can share this. Yeah, so this is the cover of the one I got. The one with Superman being in the one in the black circle here. I've just bought that. So I don't know if that was the. I saw this somewhere on the book. It looks like a John Byrne artwork, but I guess they redid the coloring again on it. So yeah, I picked it up. Paper is really nice on it. It's not a glossy paper, but it's a very white paper. And yeah, I'm quite happy with it. I've been really, I think I reread it again last night before I went to bed. Yeah, I was quite happy with it because I don't have to go looking for my comics. I don't know if I still have them. I lost a whole bunch of comics in a flood. I lost at least a few thousand comic books. So, but I'm sure that this one didn't get destroyed. I got a few copies of the Man of Steel miniseries run, but it is a very good book. Canadian wise, it was expensive. I think I paid some like I think I almost paid $70 for this. That is really expensive, but it looks nice on the shelf, and I can pull it out. I don't have to go through a white box to look for it. I've got none of my books organized. I need to get my books organized. So if anybody has any suggestions for ways to catalog the books and stuff like that, and price them and stuff like that, just let me know in the comments here. But yeah, it's a really good book. So you can get it on Amazon. It's taking me to the American site. So it's $44.99 American. So it's almost, I think it was like around 68 Canadian. So I wanted the hardcover. The hardcover looks better on a bookshelf, So they have a She-Hulk John Byrne Omnibus here also, but it's $86 for the Sensational She-Hulk on Amazon. So let's see. Let me share the screen. Yeah, so this is a Sensational She-Hulk that's on there. I'm not sure how many pages is that. It collects Sensational She-Hulk 1989 1 to 8, 31 to 46, 48 to 50. I wasn't sure. John Byrne was doing it in 89. But I have most of the issues, I think, still. But I think this is doesn't say here. Came out in June of 2020. I used to have this poster, this cover as a poster, but they recolored it. It doesn't look as good as it used to when they originally printed out in the poster. I love this. I thought it was great. Marvel printed a lot of posters back in the past, and they were fun to have up on the wall, But I moved from my parents' place back in 80. I think it was 80. I think it was 85, 84, 85. And when they moved themselves, they folded all my posters, because originally I had all the posters in a high box. I should have put them in tubes. I really should have put them in tubes, but I didn't think of tubes back then. And so every one of my posters got folded, so I had to throw them out because they were ripped and stuff like that from being folded. But so whatever you do is, if you have posters, make sure that you have them put in a tube, or you get them destroyed. So here's another one I'd like to get. I haven't got this. I got a lot of George Perez stuff. George Perez is a fantastic artist. This is not bad, $31, but I'm looking at American prices. So our Canadian prices are different. Can I change? Oops. I don't know what I'm doing. It doesn't want to do that for me. It does not want for me to get out of that. So I'm going to close this off. Yeah, so I'm back full screen. We've got Max as a guest here today. If nobody has seen Max already at the beginning of this video, he's here with me, keeping me company. Oh, Max, you scared that person away. But Max is my guest star. And I'm probably going to stay on for a little bit long, just a few more minutes. I'll just get up to the hour mark, and I'm going to head off. I can't sit too long lately. But yeah, there's some... let's see if I got any... Now here's something that's just came out just recently. We're just gonna get here and I'll show this one because this is the video I really liked.
My life hasn't been what you probably think it has. We all have our struggles.
Have you ever been in love?
A long, long time ago. You?
So many times. Yeah, all the time.
Welcome to the future. Life is good, but it can be better. Well, why shouldn't it be? All you need is to watch it. Think about finally having everything you always wanted.
I can say today, you can save the world. Now, I take what I want in return. Everyone will see. Everyone needs you. You know what you need to do.
Nothing good is born from lies. Greatness is not what you think. It's all art. That's just a trash can.
It's just a trash can. Yeah.
Well, that is it. I am going to call it a day. Maybe back later on. So everybody have a good day, and we'll probably see you tomorrow or later today. All right, everybody, take care. Bye-bye.